Hello Digidestineds, this is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to go over all the amazing possible decks you're going to be coming to see during BT-6. What ones will you see the most out of each color, and there'll be some small honorable mentions. But without further ado, let's dive right into the deck profiles right now. First deck we're going to talk about is none other than Jesmon. Jesmon is a very powerhouse kind of deck in this format. I'm not even joking. This is Red's kind of bread and butter for this set going to EX. We're not going to give up Jesmon anytime soon. Jesmon is a very powerful Digimon for Omega because it's similar to Lord Nightmon, being able to play a Digimon from hand, but this one allows you to play from drop as well. The recycling used resources means we're not negging, get us our combo pieces off. So Jesmon allows us to play a Sistermon, any Sistermon, then go further in, which really does help this deck synergy really well. And also has when you play another Digimon, this Digimon gains 3000 DP and Pierce, which even with Lord Nightmon, that's very good. The difference between Lord Nightmon and this is that the power stays on both turns for Lord Nightmon, and Jesmon only keeps it for your turn, which isn't terrible. The deck synergizes really well because our Sistermon is a constant blocker. So while you have a Digimon with Hackmon in its name or a Royal Knight, it instantly gains blocker. All your Sistermon do. So 2 Sistermons out guarantees, and just having this one and then play, let's say, Seal. It's now 2 blockers on board, and also it has a really great on-play draw effect. So we're taking advantage of both Seal and Blanc being able to gain a memory and then have our Royal Knights just be our Royal Knights, gaining more power. So all turns, this Digimon with all your Digimon with Hackmon in their names or Royal Knights gets plus 2000 DP. So we swing 17 into security very easily with Jesmon. So that's a very powerful skill. Gaining a memory is very important. So the reason why we also back it up with only a low level count of Gallantmons is because we can warp into it with this Guillemon here. This Guillemon is to help us get back into the game if we are thrown out of it. Because if we put this in the racing area and we know we're going to fall behind, at least we can go into this, blow up something. Well, go by 4 if they give us enough memory. If we're just saving our memory booster by chance, we do get it. So we can go into this Guillemon, remove a security. This helps against security control and get us back into the game, which really does help out. But we also have Gallantmon in here with the security plus attack, and delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 or less DP, which we really don't care. But if we can't delete anything, it gains another 3000. Being able to swing in for that more power is really helpful for us. So major reason why this deck goes off as much as it does: Judgment of the Blade. One of your Digimon with Hackmon in its name or Royal Knight, which basically our top end is all Royal Knights. When we use this, we can attack when our opponent's unsuspended Digimon. Being able to kill 2 Digimon is just so good. And what's really nice about its security effect is you may play a Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. So if we lost a blocker because they blow it up, this card reveals we get a blocker back because we'll grab Blanc or we'll grab Seal depending on the situation, and Seal will trigger its on-play effect, activates, and then you add this card to your hand, which is a great follow-up turn piece. We also play Dedicated Plan to get around security control, but let's talk about a quick combo with Jesmon. Jesmon, let's say you're facing a Lord Nightmon, they just swung in with Lord Nightmon. We're going to go into Jesmon the following turn. They'll have their Nightmon or /Angemon. So we'll bring Jesmon out of raising, then swing in. We'll activate Judgment of the Blade, giving our Jesmon the added boost it needed for the power. We'll swing into their Lord Nightmon because we'll be above it depending on situation, but usually we will be. Clearing out the Lord Nightmon, then we'll Digivolve it into, which will trigger our Pierce. We'll take out 1 security, then we'll go into Omnimon following, and then go right for that Nightmon. which kills off 2 Digimon and gets us 2 security checks or more, depending if we have a tie out. Anything like that can just help this deck momentum really great. Support cards usually are like Rise Greymon or Volcandramon. You can't go wrong with them, but mostly this is a very stock list you're gonna find. I don't think there's gonna be much variance from this. The Hackmon, Jessmon with the Greymon, I think will be definitely what you'll commonly see. Figimon, I definitely like Figimon just because it's a 3 drop champion that we can just go up if we are facing against, let's say, security control. We can play this down and go right into our mega a lot faster. It just really does help out at the end of the day. This is pretty much just, you'll see a lot of Jessmon play in your format if you have a lot of red players. Next, here is Ancient Garurumon Bonds of Friendship. I really think we're going to see a real high resurgence of this deck just because this deck is an aggro deck in a nutshell, and I feel like they're going to be playing this Gabumon to help be the on play that it needed to search for the tamers that it's always needed so heavily. That this deck gets a slight boost because of this Gabumon. We also play the Gabumon that gets a draw, which is really nice, but at least with this on play Gabumon, we're gonna gain enough advantage with our tamers, because if we hit, let's say, Davis off of this, at least Davis will plus us 1, then we have Matt Ishida that is just going to guarantee our Bonds of Friendship goes off very easily. This deck will be definitely seeing a lot of. I know that the other Bonds of Courage or Bonds of something else, I forget what they try to call it, but this deck will see more constant play for blue players just because how powerful it is. It's like a Rookie Rush deck in a nutshell. And, you know, I think if I remember correctly, they played Upamons as its baby. I forgot that we need Upamons. So they definitely played Upamon as their go-to baby, just so that they have excess draw. We're not going to be removing too much resources, but it's just there. Or if I remember correctly, it was probably Beamon as well. I think it was 1 Upamon, Beamon. Demi B? Demi B, Demi B. Nope, because we don't have jammers. So yeah, it's just going to be Upamon. Just a really powerful deck in general. It just multi-attacks. It gets 5 to 6 attacks off in a turn very easily. Just guaranteed with Bonds of Friendship. I mean, you'll get 3 attacks off if you get the Gabumon underneath it. That's just going to shut down most opponents. Ancient Garurumon can at least get 2. So that's 5 attacks in a turn if you get both of these on board. It's a very powerful Digimon set that just synergizes really well with each other, and most decks just don't keep up with it. Well, let's talk about green. Green, Ancient Troymon, Nidhogg control. Green control gets a little bit better because Ancient Troymon, as long as you can keep it on board state and you don't swing with it, Ancient Garurumon just can't keep up with this, because Ancient Troymon is when they swing with their Ancient Garurumons or their Bonds of Friendship Gabumons, they instantly get rested because they restand first and this card triggers. So now they don't have that multi-attack functionality. So this deck really counters it really hard, because we also can shut them out with a Reflegiamon just so that we can prevent them from swinging in. But if we have Ancient Troymon and then we can go into Bancho Stingmon, we're golden. Bancho Stingmon will clear out most threats in the format. This also helps against heavy rush decks. Ancient Troymon, even just slamming this down against Rookie Rush, they're not going to get too many crazy attacks off if you can just set this up. And then you can get right to that Nidhogg play and then just boom. If you can just get this down, if they can give you 3 for the turn, you're fine. They don't have blockers in their deck and you're just punishing them hard, which really makes a lot of sense. Nidhogg is still a fantastic board wipe. They both combo very well with each other. Reflegiamon combos very well to slow down our opponent. If they hit a Flower Cannon, they're done for. Just Mimi to go into Arbormon We still have the Weedmon to Digiburst out between these two. Just a very strong, powerful deck that your opponent has to deal with. I remember these aren't the final renditions of what the deck's going to look like, but expect to see it like these in these kind of starting phases. But you will definitely see Ancient Troymon a lot. So one attack, I definitely think Bulkamon's going to be definitely underrated, because if your opponent has 2 or more suspended Digimon when attacking, gain a memory, very easily inheritable that just goes off and pluses us. And what I think is really nice is having Argomon, as long as it's underneath something and we swing in, it's going to gain us advantage for a few turns. We're not going to be Digibursting as crazily in this deck, because our Ancient Troymon stack will be probably set up where they can't do much against it. So if he keeps restanding every turn, we're gaining memory every turn, which is really nice. Next, Royal Knights. Royal Knights Black is a very powerful deck, and it's going to be played by a lot of people that's been waiting for Black to be crazy good. We've had Metal Garurumon come in recently, but this is the anti-meta deck of the century. Being able to have Chikorimon being able to de-digivolve their big guys down 1, their Warp Digievolutionmons down by 1, this deck helps out. If this is seen on that first security swing against Bonds of Friendship or Ancient Garurumon, they're done. They can restand, but they're now at a weaker state that you're just going to kill them off. They can't get back into them, and it just really does punish them. So definitely take that into account. Remember, it might survive because the Tamer effect won't kill it off, but that's fine. We're just bringing them down, but they will lose their Ancient Garurumon because the Warp Digievolution effect already happened. So this just helps out punish them heavily. We have Craniumon being in here to prevent security control from going crazy, and the only card that we have to worry about is Wyvern Breast, and that's about it. Most yellow security control decks don't play much more than Wyvern's Breath, and they'll play a lot of their red and black cards. So if we can slam down a Craniumon, they're done for. There's nothing else they can do against Craniumon except for cringe it and cry in the corner. Genkomon just helps clear boards and keep our opponent at bay. Alphamon helps survive turns if revealed in security. Just a really powerful, well-rounded deck that just goes off. And because Craniumon protects blockers, we're going to use Magnadramon to get under Genkomon and just keep our opponent from being able to touch us, because Craniumon will keep everything at bay and we're just going to punish them. And what I really like is the Ironfish Onslaught. Just gives us another heavy option that deletes all our opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost, especially against Rookie Rush. A lot of Rookie Rush gets punished in this format because we have a lot of out answers that we didn't have before to it. There is a lot more board wipe spells, a lot more security control. There's going to be a lot more, so Rookie Rush might see a phase out of existence. Next, I think you're going to definitely see a lot of Lilith Titanmon. This deck is just really good with its Jack Rays, keeping it your turn. Yes, it's Lilith Loop, but you have more consistency, especially with the new Wizardmon coming in the promo packs. We can now get 3 memory in a turn out of a Lilithmon, or even crazier yet, we can, let's just say we go in for the loop, we can pull a Wizardmon from drop and a ultimate. Then we can go Digivolve up our Wizardmon into our ultimate, because we gain the memory from the Lilithmon. Then swing in with the Zawart, take out Lilithmon, bring him back to hand. Now Digivolve into that stack, grab our Jack Raids. Now we're back going full throttle again. Getting that extra memory does help out in the long run, boys and girls. I think don't sleep on this deck. This deck will start doing crazy things even going in the future. Being able to gain retaliations, cycling out cards, rush abilities, just being able to take advantage of what this deck is trying to do in a nutshell at all times is really good. I think people will sleep on this deck, but let's not sleep on it. Next one I'm going to talk about is Dynasmon Kentorismon. I didn't put this in my last video. I did do a smaller one. I don't know what babies you'll expect in this deck. because there's just so many options you do have. You could play Upamons, you could keep your memory low, security low, and just go from there. But I think War Growlmon, Angel Woolmon, and Angel Woolmon is just the way to go, because we are back on War Greymon. We don't have jamming as much, but that's fine. We just want to get our recovery with Dynastamon, being able to constantly recover our security, making this a free cost, which is ridiculous. What makes this deck really nice is we can mill the top 6 cards. We can definitely toss our Contourusmon down to the drop, and then have our Kudamon, so that we can return one of our Contourusmon to the bottom of our deck to trigger recovery +1, which is nuts for a 3 on play instant recovery. It's better than Lucemon because this condition is slightly easier to fulfill, and Contourusmon's a beast. Being able to prevent our opponents from swinging and we can get multiple swings in is just really powerful. Being able to spam the board, we're just doing what our deck is naturally meant to do, and that's just punish our opponent for playing the game. So making them play slower is what we want. So some honorable mention decks, I'm gonna even go on to it. A security control list, of course. Beelzestar, aka Three Musketeers, is a very powerful deck going into this format. We have so many great options. This card alone just deletes all our opponents' Digimon with play cost 7 or lower. We have Flying Bullet, deleting our opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. We have Trump Swords Nailbone just to recycle back. Beelzestar is just such a powerhouse in its own right, because when on play, return 1 option card with a memory cost 7 or more from your trash to your hand, then use one option with a memory cost 7 or in your hand without paying its memory cost, is just super consistent, just because it gets to be played for cheaper by the number of Three Musketeers plus the options. We're not going to be able to get it in for free, but we can get it close enough where it's basically blowing up our opponent's boss mons that we just don't mind them losing. And Beelzestar, even lost, still has a fantastic on play because Trump Swords Nailbones gets us 2 out of the deal. We're just a little more consistency. I think Soundbirdmon is just so important. You may trash 1 option card in your hand to gain a memory. This helps funnel her a lot quicker so that we can just go up faster. I think people won't sleep on this deck at all, but I think people will sleep on Soundbird really quickly at first, but realize Soundbird is just so consistent. But I think that's the way that deck's gonna go. I'm feeling like you're gonna see a lot of Beelzestar, a lot of security control. There's not much else you won't see in this meta. Next, we're definitely gonna see a insurgence of our good friend Rookie Rush. Rookie Rush got a boost with Apemon being an 8K champion. That's ridiculously strong. That gets over a lot of things in this format, and your opponent's just gonna have to deal with it. And Wyvern's Breath being a really powerful option to kill big Digimon that Spiral Masquerade might not be able to right away is sometimes very important. Being able to constantly be able to, let's say you Wyvern's Breath 1, and then they had to rebuild up their big Digimon, and you have another Wyvern's Breath, enough killing of big Digimon will definitely get you somewhere in this game. You can always punish them more with Spiral Masquerade afterwards. They try to go wide. You can just keep hitting them. As long as you keep removing the stack, they're in trouble. Definitely what I like is also this Tapirmon with Inheritable. So when a card is removed from your security stack, trigger draw +1. So Lopamon's going to help do that. So Lopamon can draw. So a Lopamon with a Tapirmon with a Digi-Evolution above it can get us so much advantage here. So Lopamon played, look at top, take it. Now you trigger draw 2. That's amazing. Yellow hasn't had a consistency draw engine in forever. And we also play Blinding Ray to help play more Digimon. So it just helps out really well. So guys, what do you think of my picks for this meta? What you think might be playing into your meta more? So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.